Something massive just happened for gun owners in America, and most people haven't even heard about it yet. A state governor just signed a brand new law that wipes out state-level NFA restrictions on suppressors completely. On top of that, the federal government already killed the $200 tax stamp at the start of this year. And right now, the NRA just filed their third major lawsuit to tear down the rest of the NFA for good. This is a domino effect. And if you own a suppressor, want one, or just care about your Second Amendment rights, what's happening right now changes everything. I'm going to break down exactly what passed, exactly what it means for you, and exactly what's still standing in the way. Stay with me, because this story is moving fast. Before we go any further, are you subscribed to this channel? Because this is the kind of breaking news that most firearms channels won't cover in this much detail. Click that subscribe button right now so you never miss a critical update like this one. It takes 2 seconds, and it could save you from making a very expensive legal mistake down the road. Let's start at the beginning, because to understand how big this is, you need to know what gun owners have been fighting against for a very long time. Here's what just happened. On February 10th, 2026, South Dakota Governor Larry Roden signed Senate Bill 2 into law, and this wasn't just another routine gun bill. He signed it at the headquarters of Silencer Central, right there in South Dakota, and the symbolism was impossible to miss. What did that bill actually do? It removed suppressors from the state's controlled weapons list entirely. That means at the state level in South Dakota, a suppressor is no longer treated as a dangerous regulated weapon. It's now treated like any other piece of firearm equipment. No special state permits, no extra state hoops to jump through. Just gone. Pause. And South Dakota wasn't the only state moving in this direction. Georgia, Alaska, and Kansas have all introduced similar legislation to strip suppressors from their own controlled weapons definitions. The trend is real, and it's accelerating. Now, let me give you some context so this really hits home. Most people don't realize that in America, you've been living in a world where a simple muffler for your firearm has been treated almost like a machine gun since 1934. That's not an exaggeration. The National Firearms Act, the NFA, was passed 91 years ago, and it lumped suppressors in with machine guns and grenade launchers. You had to pay a $200 tax, wait months or even years for government approval, register every single suppressor, submit fingerprints, and provide a passport photo. Pause. Just to buy a device that protects your hearing. Meanwhile, in Europe, you can walk into a hardware store and buy a suppressor off the shelf. In New Zealand, they're practically required for courtesy while hunting. Here, you needed to treat it like a Class 3 weapon. That's the world you've been living in. Until now. Here's the part everyone misses when they hear this news. The change didn't start with South Dakota. It started on July 4th, 2025, when President Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill into law. That piece of legislation contained a game-changing provision. It eliminated the $200 federal NFA tax stamp on suppressors, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, and AOWs. Those are any other weapons in NFA language. That $200 fee had been in place since 1934. Think about that. It never adjusted for inflation. $200 in 1934 was worth almost $4,000 today. It was a deliberate financial barrier designed to keep ordinary Americans from owning these items. And on January 1st, 2026, that tax dropped to zero, completely gone. You can now submit your ATF Form 4 for a suppressor with a $0 tax stamp. The ATF confirmed it. The American Suppressor Association confirmed it. Silencer Shop confirmed it. The financial wall is down. A wild fact, and this one is going to surprise you. There are already nearly 5.8 million legally registered suppressors in America as of early 2026. That number jumped by over 730,000 in 2025 alone. Suppressor ownership has nearly doubled in just the last few years, and now with the tax gone, experts are calling 2026 the year of the suppressor. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do it now. I cover every major development in Second Amendment law and legislation the moment it breaks, and things are moving faster than they ever have before. But wait, there's something even bigger happening alongside all of this, and this is the part that shocked me when I dug into it. Just 2 weeks after South Dakota signed their state-level Suppressor Freedom Law, the NRA announced a third major lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of the entire NFA. Filed on February 26, 2026, this lawsuit doesn't just ask for small changes. It argues that the remaining registration requirements for suppressors and short-barreled rifles under the NFA violate the Second Amendment. The NRA's argument goes like this. If the tax on suppressors is now $0, then there's no actual tax anymore. And if there's no tax, the government can't justify keeping suppressors under a tax law. The constitutional foundation of the NFA for these items essentially collapses. The Second Amendment Foundation is supporting this lawsuit. Buckeye Firearms Foundation has joined in. This isn't a small action. This is a coordinated legal assault on the last remaining pillars of NFA regulation for suppressors. Now, here's the biggest mistake people make when they hear all of this. They assume suppressors are already fully free. They think they can just walk into a gun store and buy one like a magazine. That is not true. Not yet. Let me be crystal clear with you. As of right now, in February 2026, suppressors are still regulated under the NFA. You still need to fill out an ATF Form 4. You still need to submit fingerprints. You still need to provide a passport photo. You still need to wait for ATF approval. The only thing that changed on January 1st is the fee. The process is still there. So don't walk into a gun store thinking you can just grab one off the shelf. You can't. The paperwork and approval process remain in place. If you skip the process thinking the rules changed completely, you could be looking at serious federal felony charges. Don't fall for that trap. Here's what is different and why it still matters enormously for you. The financial barrier is gone. The $200 stamp was a real obstacle for a lot of gun owners, especially if you wanted multiple suppressors. At $200 per item, plus the cost of the suppressor itself, the total price got steep fast. Now that fee is zero, and the industry is already seeing a massive surge in Form 4 applications. Silencer Shop Nord reported that on January 1st alone, suppressor applications exploded. Representative Ben Klein, who championed this provision in Congress, said suppressor ownership is surging in 2026, and the numbers prove it. Let me paint you a picture of why this matters beyond just saving $200. Imagine you're at the shooting range on a busy Saturday. You've got your ear protection in, but you can still feel every concussive blast through your chest. Your kids are with you, and they're wincing at every shot from the lane next to you. A suppressor doesn't make your gun sound like a whisper, like you've seen in the movies. That's a Hollywood myth. The average suppressor reduces a gunshot's noise by 20 to 35 decibels. A standard rifle shot runs between 150 and 170 decibels. The level at which permanent hearing damage begins is 140 decibels. Without protection, one shot can cause lasting damage. A suppressor can bring that down to a safer range. This is a hearing safety tool. Audiologists know it. The American Academy of Otolaryngology supports suppressor use for hearing preservation. These aren't assassination devices, they're safety equipment. And for 91 years, the federal government treated them like weapons of war. If you're enjoying the depth of this breakdown, wait until you see what's coming next on this channel. I've got a complete deep dive into the ongoing NFA lawsuits and what a Supreme Court ruling could mean for every single NFA item you own. Subscribe right now so that video hits your feed the moment it drops. Now let's talk about what's coming next and what you should actually be watching for. South Dakota just fired the first major shot at the state level. Kansas is right behind them with Senate Bill 503, which would remove suppressors from their controlled weapons list too. Georgia and Alaska are moving similarly. This matters because even if you follow all the federal rules perfectly, some states had their own extra layer of restrictions on top of the NFA. South Dakota just stripped that away completely. When more states follow, and they will, owning a suppressor in those states becomes dramatically simpler from a legal standpoint. Here's what the next 12 months look like, based on where things stand today. The NRA's third NFA lawsuit is going to work through the court system. If it reaches the right level, and if the courts agree that a $0 tax isn't really a tax at all, the entire NFA registration requirement for suppressors and SBRs could be struck down. At the same time, the SHUSH Act and the Constitutional Hearing Protection Act are both active bills in the 119th Congress right now. Those bills would go even further, removing suppressors from the NFA entirely, not just eliminating the tax, treating them like a standard firearm accessory, the same way Europe has done for decades. You'd be able to buy one over the counter. Most people don't realize how close we actually are to that reality. The political momentum, the legal momentum, and the public opinion momentum are all pointing in the same direction right now. After the 2024 elections, after the one big beautiful bill passed, after South Dakota made history, the suppressor freedom movement has more energy than it has had in 90 years. Here's the part that should make you pay very close attention. Every major shift in gun law creates a window where people who are informed and prepared can act first, and people who are uninformed get left behind or make costly mistakes. The $200 tax is gone. State restrictions are starting to fall. The legal challenges to the NFA are mounting. Right now is the time to educate yourself, get your paperwork in order if you've been waiting, and stay locked in on every new development. Don't let this information sit unused. If you've been thinking about getting a suppressor, the financial barrier that held you back for years is officially gone. Start that Form 4 process now and get ahead of what is shaping up to be a landmark year for Second Amendment rights in America. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do it right now. My next video drops in 48 hours, and it goes even deeper into the NFA lawsuits, including what a Supreme Court victory could mean for every NFA item on your wall. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This video is educational content, not legal advice. Suppressor laws vary by state, and federal law still applies. Always check current ATF regulations and consult a licensed firearms attorney for your specific situation before making any purchase or transfer decisions.